Hello, I'm Papia. In this problem, we have a function f of x equals 3x minus 2. We have to evaluate this function at these given values and then simplify the result. So, the way we approach evaluating a function at a given point is you look at the expression for the function and see what we're saying is f is the function, you plug in x inside the function and your output is 3 times x minus 2. So when we have to figure out what is f of 0, for example, that means you plug in 0 for x. And then on the right hand side in this expression, you plug in 0 wherever there is an x and then get your output. Okay? So the best way to think about it is consider wherever you have this variable x, there is like an empty box. And then whenever you have to plug in a value for x, that means you plug in that value inside the empty box. And in the right hand side, you do the same thing. So it's like if you have empty box here for x, in the right hand side, you will have an empty box where there is this x. So it will be 3 times an empty box minus 2. Okay? So let's use that approach and figure out what the values will be, what the output will be when you plug in certain x values. So the first one is f of 0. Okay? So consider this 0 is inside this box now. It's not empty anymore. So what you do, you take the right hand side and plug in that value inside the box, in the right hand side. So it will be 3 times, here was a box, right? So you plug in 0 there and minus 2. So what that means is you multiply 3 with whatever is in the box and then subtract 2 from it. So as you see, 3 times 0 is just 0, minus 2, and answer is negative 2. So this is the output when you plug in 0 inside the function. Okay, so you can continue this same method for all the other values. So next one is f of 5. What does that mean? That means 5 is the number that you will plug inside that box. So on the right hand side, you have 3 times, remember there was the box, right? Right here. So you plug in 5 in the box and subtract 2. Again, that means 3 is multiplied to 5. And then subtract 2. So 5 times 3, that's 15, minus 2, and that is 13. So the answer is 13 for part B. Let's continue. Third one is f of b. Okay, so it's not a number, but it's okay. So that means you're plugging in x equals b, whatever b is. So b is now inside the box. What you do? You take the right hand expression, 3 times, remember, there was the box. So you plug in b inside that box. Subtract 2 again. So it means 3 is multiplied to b minus 2. Answer is 3b minus 2. So this is the answer for part C. All right. Finally, the last one. And this is where things can get a little bit confusing. That's why the box approach is easier to understand. So look at this expression. You have to figure out f of x minus 1. What does that mean? That means you're plugging in an entire expression inside the function. So that empty box will now contain this entire expression x minus 1. Okay, so let's write it down correctly. What will be the right hand side? Remember, 3 times you plug in the entire x minus 1 inside that box and then subtract 2. One more time, this means this 3 is multiplied to x minus 1. Please be careful here, okay? 3 has to distribute for both terms. So let's do that. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And you still have the negative 2. So you can simplify further. You see these are both constants. Combine them. So you get 3x minus 5. And that's the final answer. I hope you understand. Thank you.